Okay, speaking of which, ladies and gentlemen, it is my proud pleasure to introduce to you, in the flesh this year, Chelsea Elizabeth Manning.
All right, well, hello. Here I am. So I see things have changed a little bit since last year and since I was last out and about in the world. First off, I've spoken. Actually, I've had 2 statements read at this event in the past, and that's a little different. I'm actually here, so here I am. And so I want to talk a little bit about where we are today and what we're looking at and what we're dealing with. And because I've been out and about for a few months. I've obviously seen the sights and saw. I see what's going on. There's a lot that's changed. I mean, there's like Nazis and KKK running around. I don't remember that being a big deal whenever I was out. I think it's really important to remember, especially in a time like this, that institutions that we depend on, institutions that matter to us, institutions that make decisions over us, whether it's whether it's a large corporation or a criminal justice system or media entities or whatever. Like, these large institutions can and they regularly do fail. And I think it's important to recognize the fact that institutions sometimes don't work. And when they don't work, you can't ask them to work again. You just can't. So what we're seeing today, I think, is more institutions that are depending on secrecy, more institutions that are depending on cracking down on any forms of dissent or disagreement, or even just the hint of potential threat to them. And all of this is surrounded by this notion of power. Institutions have power. They have the ability to make decisions over our lives. And they've kind of rigged the systems. Whether it's the ways in which we engage in public and the ways in which we engage with our institutions they're usually very administrative, or like you go to your ballot box and you have an election, or you have a procedure or an administrative complaint or a redress request or something like that, and also there's a lot of compromise that happens between institutions and us, and a lot of us end up asking the question, well, this really sucks, this isn't working, maybe somebody should do something about this. And I think that's a really important, moment that happens in each and every one of us. Is that moment where it's like, this isn't working, but what can I do? And I get asked a lot, like, what can I do? And I think it's really important to remember that whenever systems fail and whenever institutions don't work, you do have agency, you do have power, and every single person who's spoken today, gives us different, introduces us to different ways in which we can engage with power, and which we can, actually have a forceful impact and have the political agency beyond just what we see and beyond the ballot box. There's more to politics than just elections or court orders or requests or lawsuits. There's so much more. I look at the various forms of direct action as an answer to failing process. Whether it's, it doesn't have to be, I engaged in a form of direct action, but it's different than another form, or another, it's just like we all have different ways in which we can engage in political agency, and together as a collective group of people, we have power, and we have the ability to make decisions, and we have the ability to make that be known, even whenever institutions ask us not to, or tell us not to, forcefully. I look at how each and every one of us has power, and I remember there was I watched as one of the most inspiring moments that I've seen since I've been out is I watched a video of of a group of people taking down a Confederate statue, like in Durham, North Carolina. And I found that inspiring. I found that powerful. And, I relate to that, I feel like that's very similar. It feels empowering. And, we don't have to just, we don't have to engage in direct action. We don't all have to do these things. We can also support each other. We can support people who who do the right thing, or, make a decision, or, and end up in trouble, or, whether it's facing, getting fired, or getting prosecuted, or going to prison. We can provide support to people. You don't have to engage in direct action to support those who do. And prisoner support works. I was a prisoner for 7 years, and Lisa, was very, she supported me whenever I was in prison. Lisa Ryan, I've had many hours on the phone with Lisa. And she helped me in times when I was troubled, when I was alone, whenever I was doubting myself, whenever I felt I wasn't being heard, or whenever I felt I was being forgotten. And she was there, and she would sometimes pick up the phone in the supermarket, or pick up the phone while running, or as she's doing life things. And so she was there for me, and that support really mattered. We can provide. We can write letters. We can, give inmates, money for commissary or for legal defense. We can show our solidarity. We can show up to court hearings. We can show up to, we can write petitions. We can actively do things to help people that do place themselves at risk against our institutions. And it's really important to remind people that have been in positions like we have, that we're not forgotten, because it's really easy to feel like we're forgotten sometimes. On a more positive note for the future, though, I think it's really important to remember that we live in a time where I don't think where we don't need leaders to tell us what to do, or to guide us in a time like this. I think we need each other. And I lean upon the people that are closest to me. I learned this in prison, that the people closest to you are the people that matter the most. I look to them, whenever the prison staff was treating me awfully, or whenever I was being, whenever I felt alone, I just as much as I was able to reach out to Lisa, I had my friends that were across the table from me, or down the hall, or in the cell two doors down, that I could reach out to. We work together. We work to, we can depend on each other. We need each other, and that works out here as well. We need each other. We know what our communities need. Each one of us knows what our little community needs. Somebody that's way up upon high that makes, rules and decisions doesn't know what a small community needs. Each and every one of us knows what our community needs. I also think it's important to remember, especially because I'm told a lot, oh, you really give me hope. You're really giving me hope. But I don't give anybody hope. You know, hope is not something that anyone can give to you. Nobody can give you hope. Hope is something that you already have. You just have to find it, and we can help each other find it. Hope is something that, hope that is something that, you know, like nobody gave me hope whenever I was in prison. I had to find it. I found it, and it got me through. And the support helped me find it. And you know, and it's really important to remember that, you know, that we do have this. We got this. That's a hashtag that I use very frequently on my Twitter. And it actually comes from a phrase that I said many, many times to Lisa whenever we were having troubled moments over the phone, whenever she was helping me, as I would, even whenever it looked like, because, you know, I didn't think this would happen. I didn't think I'd be standing here today. I really didn't. I don't, you know, we had moments where neither of us did. But she worked so hard, and one of the things that we used to say was, we got this, we got this. Even whenever it didn't look like we did. And I think it's really important to remember that sometimes, even whenever it looks like you don't have it, you really do. And so we got this, all right? Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, everyone. It's very powerful for me to be here tonight. Lisa? This is the legacy of Aaron. Let's just say that.
Okay. Okay. This is the legacy of Aaron.